So the punch block series is all about survival from the guard. But eventually, we would like to not only survive, but to be able to get back up to our feet and to safety. So that's what this lesson is all about. It's the guard get up.
This is it, you guys. Check it out. So if you're in the bottom of the guard and you make up your mind that you want to get back to your feet, you want to get up and get away from this person, which is a totally reasonable and understandable emotion and thought, how would we do that? If we don't have training, you're probably going to try to push the person off and maybe like try to kick them off or sit up, and they may try to follow you. And so it's going to be kind of a congested situation, especially if they're kind of low and tight and he's trying to push and he's a much heavier guy. It's just hard to get this guy off because using arm strength trying to bench press the guy when really he's heavier than you can lift. And it's just wasting a lot of energy in the process, okay? So for this technique, instead of muscling it, slide down. Instead of pushing the person off, watch what Eve does. Boom. Boom. And she's up. It's called guard, get up, L to the I, kick low, kick high. So we're going to learn this technique in incredible detail today, but we're going to begin with some solo preparation drills that will help you develop the movements that are critical for the entire execution of the technique.
There's a lot of moving parts to this one.
Starting with the
They're all
most
doable,
important.
but we're going to start with the shrimp, right? So let me just show you once in the context of what the actual shrimp was, and then we're going to practice a drill to learn this motion. So you notice that instead of pushing Henner off of me from here, if he was here, I didn't push him off. I held him in place. I turned to my side and my hips just shot out the back.
Boom.
Here.
Shrimp right there.
So this actual motion here is called the shrimp, and that's what we're gonna practice right now.
And the
Do a drill.
principle here is that if you can't move him, once again, you move yourself. So instead of moving the guy, we're retracting our bodies out from underneath him, which is much more energy efficient. So by yourself, Eve?
So this is what the shrimp drill looks like, and this is how we're gonna learn that movement. So I'm laying down on my back, I have one leg flat, and now I'm gonna turn my body to the side, almost like I'm sleeping on my side here. That's how turned my shoulders should be. My hands are posting and my foot is on the ground. Now posting this foot on the ground, my hips are gonna shoot back. And I end up in this position, almost touching my toes, which we call a shrimp position here. And now from here, I extend. And now I switch and go to the other side.
So yeah, so from here, extend, switch. And in terms of, most common mistakes people make there?
Sure. So from here, again, the leg is flat. Probably the number one is turning to the wrong side. So this might look the same, but now pushing off this, just not the same effectiveness, right? So with the posted leg is how you're moving your hips back. That's where you get your any power, any energy from. And turning our body all the way to the side here, right? Because once our shoulders are turned, that allows space for our hips to come out the back. As opposed to if my shoulders were on the ground.
Right.
Imagine me trying to move my hips now.
Well, it's the parking spot. Your shoulder is occupying the parking spot that your hips would like to land in. It's that simple.
Right. So let's open up that parking spot, hands posted.
And this is an imaginary. You're posting the suspect here. You're posting the bad guy, holding him away. And then her foot is on the ground. And then her hips shoot out. Look. Boom. We call this the shrimp. And this position in particular is also called the L position. We're going to use a lot of L's and a lot of I's.
Has this.
See her body? It makes a large 90-degree curve here. So this 90-degree turn here is the L. And then from the L, her legs will stay and watch her upper body goes to the I. We call that the I. So it's called L to the I. Shrimp to the L, stretch to the I. Slowly, other side. Let's see the back side.
Switch legs, which means what? My other leg is posted. The leg is flat. Which side do I turn to? Flat leg.
Always to the flat leg.
Always towards the flat leg. We can't really turn enough, okay?
Simulation pose.
And now using this foot, watch this foot and how this is what allows me to lift my hips.
Yeah.
Now this is almost a good drill, is to just do this.
Look, her hips are
See how
floating a
my
little.
hips are off the ground? If you try this first, that will help you understand really the energy. Now notice how my shoulder and my foot here are really my only two posts. So that's what all my my torque is coming from. It's from the foot and the shoulder. So pushing off that back leg.
Look how far you guys.
Hips come out.
Beautiful. Maximum shrimp to the L. She keeps her feet here and she extends and then she reloads and she's ready to rock and roll. A couple of most common mistakes here. A lot of times they'll post his foot here too far down. So your posted leg is so far from your hips that now as she shrimps, it's kind of like, no, she literally only moved to like this V instead of to a full L position here.
Put this as close
Super
as possible.
tuck that foot in to maximize your shrimp potential.
Yeah. Now, if you're having a hard time with this, there's ways that you can practice with your partner
I
to
will
make
show
it a
them.
little simpler. So if you stand over me,
Watch this.
if I'm standing here, what I'll do is Henna will just stand over me.
Right below her
and starting
hips.
from here, I'll turn to the side and actually grab the fabric of their pants. Actually grab it, right? And now I'm using it, I'm pushing off of his shin at the same time. The reason why I grab it is because it forces my shoulder to stay still. What happens sometimes is people do this.
Yep.
I can't even do it.
They slide.
They
Do-
slide
do
their
that
whole
again.
shoulder up.
That's the number one
Right.
mistake is people just literally think that there's a staying
They
linear.
just-
Well, that wasn't ever an L. That was an I to a longer I to another I. They just went shh and slide away. And what you have to think about is in real life, that's not going to have the intended effect.
Nor are
because
you gonna have a slippery, beautiful mat like this.
That's true. It could be pavement where you're scraping your body. But when Eve does it correctly, let's go again,
Mhm.
with a partner assistance, by the way, it's a great idea.
So
Grab
hold
the
on to
shin.
this, secures this shoulder to the mat.
So
Here.
now this won't
Pushing
move.
off
Watch.
here.
Only her
And now
hips
I'm
go.
using this. I'm actually pushing off of the shin. I'm using it to help me, which you will actually have in real life.
There's a
Something
little
to push
wedge.
Off of. And now
Boom,
hips
look at
come
that
out the
deep
back.
L. Now her legs stay here and she lets go and watch her upper body swing away. That's it. Watch her legs will switch. I walk forward, look, and I give her a new shin to grab.
And now here's another option too. Sometimes we can't get, I mean, I've been shrimping for a long time, you guys. So, but in the beginning, it's a unique, strange movement. So it's okay if it has to be
A couple shrimps to get to the full
couple
L.
to get to that full L. No problem. As long as you're shrimping. What we don't want to see is this, is like a, and then like,
Right.
like try to kind of work your way through the rest of it. Because we really want to understand, even if it takes you 3 times to get to that shrimp, it's better than faking the funk.
Yeah, and then eventually you get proficient at it and your hips can find a way. Watch me here. Your hips will find a way to do it all the way. Boom, foot on the ground, hand simulation. You don't need to grab anything because you understand this doesn't move. This just lifts up. There's a shrimp right there, right to the full L. Watch the upper body. Don't move your legs now, look, because the suspect is still over here. So watch my upper body. Straight, all the way to flat, switch legs, roll the hips. Now I'm right here. I find my footing, lift my shoulder. Look how I rock my shoulders forward. Like I'm really exaggerating. I do this to put even more weight on the shoulder. And now my hip is even lighter. Look how far we can shoot out right there. And then we extend and we're good to go. Boom,
And
boom,
you
boom,
notice as you continue this drill, it should go in a completely straight line all the way down.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you know you're doing it right, is if you keep going, it will just go
Just like this.
linear.
It just go L, I, switch.
And he's
L.
moving. He's moving. His
And I'm on the
hips are
line.
shooting back every time, and then his body
L.
is gonna follow.
I. So
My
I'm
bad.
following the line. Sorry. There you have it, you guys. So shrimp drill, critical drill. This is not just for the guard getups. This is for all of jiu-jitsu. The idea of retracting your hips out from underneath someone, introducing your legs, guard recovery. We're gonna use this on a lot of techniques.
Yeah, and be patient with yourself. It's likely you've never done this before, and it's a very unique movement to jujitsu. But I'll tell you one thing, you're gonna try it today, and it's gonna feel like a little weird and like, is this right? You're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna try it tomorrow, and for some reason, whenever you sleep on it, your body just just learns it. It just starts feeling right. So
Well, here's
Go
what's even
master the
crazier. And then once you've done it, after you slept on it, you did it the next day, you became proficient, you trained jiu-jitsu for several more years. Then what happens is you're in bed, literally, you're like this, sleeping on your side, right? And amateurs, they roll over like this in their bed. Literally, that's how they turn, like, but that's not efficient. Professionals, they shrimp in their bed and they face the other side. Okay, that way the sheets, there's not as much friction against the sheets, you guys. So when you start shrimping in bed to switch sides from one side to the other, you know that jujitsu has penetrated your soul.
Mhm. So when escaping the guard, once again, we need a powerful strike to put them on the defensive so that we have that opportunity to escape, right? So in this case, it's the power kick.
Here we go.
And this is what it looks like. So as you can see, there's normal kicks, which would just be a flick of a leg. And then there's power kicks, which incorporate your entire body. So from here, my hips are elevated. I retract my knee, and then I do a full extension here with the kick. Comes a full body movement. Let's take a look. So Henry's got his hands out for safety and just so that I have a target to practice on. So we're gonna lift our hips up, our hands behind us, hips elevated, knee retracts, and then we're gonna fully extend. Go ahead and give me a target, Henry. Here, right? And it should make a nice clapping noise. So obviously, what are we simulating? It would be Henner's face. That's really what it would be, hopefully from here, is that it would be blasting him right in the face. So that's why this is so powerful. Now let's talk a little bit about where the power is coming from. We already talked about the hips actually extending, but aside from that, what's beautiful about this kick is that it has a large range of motion, right? So Henner can either be close, right? If closer here, and it's still powerful, or he can be further away and I can reach in. So it's almost like my body has a range of motion here. I can move my hips to make them go further or to keep them in. Now, the important part about this kick is that the contact happens at the very end of the kick, right? That's where the most of the energy should be hit. So here,
it's
as
almost
opposed
like
to a
yeah,
push,
yeah.
right? As opposed to him being so close and I'm like pushing him off.
So the way you want to envision it is you only want the last 2 to 3 inches of the kick to actually impact the opponent. That way there was the most energy buildup before the actual impact, making it most powerful. So to compare that
best-
to a normal kick, sit down, please. Is if your hips are on the ground, they're kind of tethered to the ground. Kick my face. Can't reach. Kick my hand. Can't reach. So the critical part, and the reason we need to practice this before we actually get into the actual full guard get up drilling, is because you need to learn how to incorporate your hips into both the power and the reach of this technique when Eve has that shifting body opportunity there. So even if my hand is very far away, look, no problem. She can go get it, snipe him with the heel, and he's done deal right there.
Yeah, so the way we're gonna practice this is we can start over here a little bit. And we're just gonna we're gonna kick and then scoot back each time. And he can even give me different distances each
Yeah,
time, so we can practice not only being accurate, but practicing how far our kick goes or how close it should be.
And remember, make sure you coil your knee in with every kick and that you extend your hips fully. Your hips come up with every kick. So
Yep,
check
so
it out.
here, and also that the foot is completely flexed. If it's a little bit loose, you see how, like, we
Yeah.
don't want to impact with the
You don't want
ball of our
this.
foot. We don't
Yeah.
want the ball of our foot to hit it. We want the heel to make the contact
So
here.
snappy.
And then I put my foot on the ground and I just scoot my hips back.
Critical scoot, you guys. It's they both hit all four and then your hips jump at the same time.
Hips scoot back, and now my hands are down, and now I'm gonna kick with the other leg just to practice. Knee retracts, foot flexed.
Look at the
And
hip.
kick.
That hip pop up is what they're going to miss. If they're going to keep their hips there, they're going to kick from here. Her hip aligns with her knee and her shoulders. Look at this, like a flat table right here. Boom, 100%. That's so important.
Mhm,
Coming up,
mhm.
boom, scooting.
Here, and I'm gonna scoot
I
again.
take a few
He's
steps
gonna
forward,
get
maybe I'm a little
A
closer.
little closer, which means what? See how I'm kind of leaning back?
So yeah,
That's the last part.
versus shifting.
As opposed to coming too close and then
Boom.
having it be more of a push.
Cool. Scooting, my
Back one more
hands.
time.
Boom. So she's always trying to find that perfect distance for her practice. We can flip it around.
Mhm.
Okay, up and in. Perfect scoot. Beautiful. And
leg.
scoot. And do you want to show any modification on the scoot back there?
Yes, absolutely. So as you're scooting, sometimes I have kind of like long monkey arms, so this is simple for me. But sometimes we have to make modifications for different body types or whatever feels comfortable for you.
Right.
So if you need to scoot and you can't fit the hips between your arms, you can put your hands on one side and you can just scoot back like this. So
Perfect.
both hands on one side and then come back. And most people can put their hands here and still elevate their hips. So
Boom. What's not acceptable, and we do see this, believe it or not, is you want to stand, be my kicker here. We see people scooting back like they'll kick. So I go here, feet down, hips up, full extension. Look, push your hips in the air and go. Instead, we see people do this. They kick and then they go like this. Look at my hips.
it's like the dog scoot.
Yeah, some dogs do this little butt drag. My sister has a Chihuahua that does like this little weird butt scoot. Okay, so that's unacceptable, you guys. Your hips are not dragging, like pushing back. The idea is use all four to lift, shoot, scoot, adjust, lift, shoot, scoot, adjust, lift, shoot, scoot, adjust. Cool. I think they're ready. So kick and scoot drill right now is what we're going to practice. But really, I'm telling you, focus on the hips, elevating and projecting forward to give you that maximum impact. And remember, the last 3 inches are what you want, no more in terms of what's hitting the actual target during practice. Put your hands down. And if you have a partner with heel kicks as vicious as hers, maybe put some kind of padding on because my hands are burning right now and I'm just faking the funk this entire time. Are you guys ready to practice? Are they good to go?
I think they're ready.
Kick drill. Let's do it, guys. Power kicks all day. Your shrimps are beautiful. Your kicks are powerful. There's only one thing more that you need to have full ninja status. Check it out.
So you guys have learned the base getup. Hands down, foot out, and we stand up.
Base getup.
But now it's time for the ninja getup. It's crazy.
Check this out. Nice. Come back here, ninja girl.
Mhm.
So here's the deal. So let's put context. So Eve kicked me in the face.
Yep, I just kicked him. in
Boom,
the
he's
face.
right here.
Nice.
He might be pursuing her a little bit. If she gets up with the, as he's chasing after her and she's trying to get up, if she gets up right here, boom, he grabs her, maybe he takes her down, causes a problem right there. Let's go back.
Mhm.
To avoid that, after the kick right here, she's scooting away. When she goes to get up, watch what she does. That's the jump. She's out of my reach now. The ninja get up prevents that last second reach of the opponent, and it just creates a distance between you and the attacker that is always the objective. Distance is our friend,
Always
all the
getting
way out or
distance.
all the way in.
And
Not-
this accomplishes a lot of distance. You will be surprised.
So let's do a measuring test.
Yeah,
here.
so this is the standard.
Foot stays right here.
Foot
Look, look.
stays right here.
Let's see how far this
And
foot can
now
move.
from
Watch.
here.
Put both hands and go.
Yeah, both hands, look how far they are behind me. Pushing off this front leg. My back leg will slide out.
All the way. Look at this. Freeze. Don't move your foot. Put it back where it was a little bit. A little more forward right there. Okay. Look at this. Let's measure. My foot's going to go right where yours is. I'm going to lay down.
Is that a coincidence or what? You guys, I'm
Exactly 6'4".
6'4". You guys, I'm
Exactly
6'4". She was able to make 6'4" additional distance between where she was originally going to get up and where she is now. This is what we call the ninja get up for obvious reasons, you guys. It's like magic. Let's go back.
Yes.
So we need to practice. So
Yep.
some key details.
Sure. So let's look at the details. So we start it the same way we do the normal base get up, which is feet crossed. Now, the only difference here is that instead of putting your hand close to your hips, your hands are going to go further back and you're going to have to use both hands here. So both hands back. And then we're going to push off of our front leg. This leg is going to slide back, swing back, and the front leg lands first. And this one comes here. But notice that we still land in base, and that's the whole idea.
Jump back in. It's
Yep.
beautiful.
Let's try it. So cross our feet,
I call this
Hands
ankle to ankle,
further
baby.
away.
Ankle to ankle.
Ankle to
here,
ankle.
With the bottom leg inside. Let's not
as
forget that on
opposed
the
to
base.
starting like cross like this, because again, now we don't have that coiled leg
Rattlesnake.
allow us to project us further. So we don't want this. We want it as tight to our hips as possible. Hands back, pushing off the front. Everything is coming from this front leg.
Yeah,
The
this
back
is
leg
it. This
just
is the
kind of
driver.
hinges out here. And we're here.
Beautiful.
Now, here's a common mistake. One would be landing both feet at the same time. But as you'll notice, if you do that, then you actually can't really establish a good base. So it's like,
Too
if they
narrow.
land together, do you see how narrow my feet are? Not an ideal base here, right? So it's, we want one landing and then the other one kind of just shoots out behind it. So we have that good bladed stance when we land.
Yeah, so the way I like to remember it is the front foot when she folds,
Mhm.
the front foot is the last one off the ground and the first one on the ground. So it's like last one out, first one in kind of thing. So
Mhm.
here she goes. She's gonna push off. Watch her front foot primarily. She's literally gonna shoot and push off both feet, like kind of this whole cross section here. She's gonna jump her hips back, but watch how this foot will catch the mat, allowing her bottom leg to travel even further to establish that solid base. There. You notice how her back leg trailed and did not touch down right away. One more time. This is great, you guys. Ninja get up, both hands down. And remember, you're scooting away from someone, so maybe she just kicked. Watch, she
Kick.
scooted back slow. Watch the full.
And look,
There's the tuck.
fold.
Both
Nice.
hands, and she jumps. Watch, I reach, and there's nothing to grab because she jumped out of the way with that solid landing. So right here in small form, I'm gonna do it smaller, not such a big jump. She's kind of exaggerating. She's a little too ninja status. But watch how basic I can do it. Watch. It's a good drill. Look.
Back down.
So my foot pushes and my feet, hands stay. These are my pivot points. And what's interesting is the further back you put your hands, the further your legs will land within reason. So the closer you are, that you're limiting your jump. So do lean a little bit into that posted of hands, that posting of the hands, both hands on the ground. Use your cross to push off. Look, hips up, leap your hips up and back, catch with one, slide with the other. Then you're up. Still perpendicular, still in base the entire time.
And notice that it was very linear. He stayed on that line the
Yeah,
entire
the
time
line.
here.
Hold, I jump. Instead of what some people will do, which is they'll be here and look like this. But now you've perpendiculated yourself to your subject, which means if there's any kind of stimulus or push, you're off balance because your feet are
Yeah.
parallel
Facing them.
to your opponent. All right. So we need to practice, you guys. It's very simple. Practice makes perfect. Better yet, perfect practice makes perfect. So if you're not sure, watch the video again. Both hands down, legs fold, ankle to ankle, jump, catch one, float the other, wide base on the landing. It should feel comfortable. If not, you're jumping too far, you're splitting too wide. Go a little narrower, start small, and then work towards that 6'4" gap. That was actually kind of ridiculous. See, she still has some secrets that I don't even know she's capable of. And that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. You never know what you're gonna get. Ninja get up. Once you have this, you have the 3 drills: shrimp, kick, ninja. At that point, you're ready
We're
for the
ready.
guard get ups. And you guys, it's gonna get crazy.
All right, you learned all the moving parts. Now it's time to put it all together for the guard getup. Take a look.
One time, then we'll talk about it.
Yep.
I mean, they're almost capable without even any explanation or
Yeah,
details because
that's right.
you guys, the shrimps are so solid, your kicks are so solid, your ninja get ups are solid.
You're watching this and you're already putting the pieces together. So let's just talk a little bit about the details here. The actual getup. Hands on the shoulder. You notice the shrimp.
Look at those shoulder turns.
Foot on the hip. L to the I.
Kick low.
This is one more kick that we're gonna add. We rock our bodies up, and now you know this one, power kick. Here.
Boom.
And now we scoot back, get back up to our feet.
Beautiful. Let's go again.
Mhm. So really the only kind of thing that you have to put together right now is applying the shrimp to an actual body,
Right.
right? So now my hands are posting on his shoulders. I want my arms to be straight here. holding his body weight.
Because if they're not, yeah, it's a little less leverage.
Yeah, if they're not straight, see how now I have to bench press him off of me,
Right.
right? Which I don't want to do. So even if it means, if he's closer, even if it means me scooting back to accomplish these straight arms, it's worth it. Because what am I doing? I'm trying to hold him in place while I
Right.
move.
And look how much leverage she has.
I can hold his whole body weight from here, straight arms. Now, if those my arms were bent, I would not be able to do that. So from here, hands here, arms posted, arms straight, posting off the back foot. What do? Turn our shoulders.
Create that exit channel for your
So
hips.
important for the shrimp. And now pushing off of his shoulders, we have something to work with now. Our hips shoot back and the foot lands right across his abdomen here.
Flat
Look at that.
across their stomach, you
And
guys.
notice it's not like this.
Not
I don't even know
very
how
on
it would
there.
be. It's not like off to the side. It's right across. Don't feel bad for your training partner. They're about to do it to you too.
Yes.
All right, leg
Don't feel
right
sorry for the bad
across.
guy.
Yeah, so leg right across.
There's our
A
L.
good post. This leg is straight. And now from the L, we go where?
I.
And notice how when she goes to the eye, she does flatten her shoulders in the ground. She's no longer on her side. Pretty common mistake. People stay in the eye, like they
Right,
kind of
it's
straighten
not
out, but they
from
stay.
L.
That's not it. It's full flattening here in the
So
process.
L to I with an exclamation point, right? Yeah.
Heel
so-
is tucked, leg is loaded.
Yeah, look at this position. This is so amazing. I'm keeping him back. My leg is stiff, so he can't just come into me. And this leg is ready to kick, but he
So
can't
bad.
reach me.
Oh, this is
Try
so
to to my
bad.
face. He
Yeah.
can't. Right?
This
So
is
we've
so-
already seen it. Distance management. He tries to come closer. Boom.
Boom.
So this initial kick is just to get him back. Because right now he's still coming towards me. I haven't done anything to him yet until
Boom.
This
Now
first
he's
kick.
like rocked. Now what?
now I want to sit up to do the power kick. But I could either do a crunch or I could make it easy on myself and use this leg to rock myself up. Let me tell you that during my pregnancy, that's the only way I ever got up off the ground.
Leg rock.
And still to this day, to be honest, but use this leg. So the leg comes up, it's like a pendulum swing, and now we're up. And remember, in a fight, we need to conserve every ounce of energy we possibly have. Now,
Perfect.
here's a key detail. We did the swing up. Look at the foot that's now on the ground. So the first kick was kick low, rock up. That foot goes on the ground. And now we're going to power kick with the other leg. So the
Great.
leg that is currently holding him in place is the one that's going to be the
Boom.
boomer. And now both feet go down on the ground to help us shoot our hips back as we did previously. And then we'll do the ninja get up from there.
And the rule is at least 2 scoots. The rule is at least 2 scoots between that secondary high kick, the power kick, and her base get up. And the main reason there is you want to create distance prior to the get up to reduce the likelihood of him grabbing you on the way up.
Yeah,
That's
and
what-
in the future, we'll talk about if there is no space to get up, we cover that situation is two later.
Advanced
the
guard
court.
get up. We're gonna
Yeah.
get down. Okay, so check it out. So step 1, brace these shoulders, stiff arms, everything's solid here. And sometimes you'll brace a shoulder and a knee. Okay,
Mhm.
sometimes you'll brace double shoulders. It depends on the energy of the person, what feels more
As long as
effective.
you have something to hold on
As long
to
as-
and
yeah.
stiffen your arms
Keeping
on.
him at bay. Now she's gonna tuck her other foot tight and she's gonna choose a side. Now Eve likes to choose this side. It's her good side. It's her favorite side. But you could shrimp to either side. There is no preference, whatever's comfortable for you. Once she finds her hip angle, those hips are gonna shoot out as far as they can. Now,
No.
sometimes you can't get them all the way out. You shoot a little bit, freeze. Put your foot in my stomach right now. As soon as you can get it in, get it in. Just tuck it in and get it there. And then using the shrimp and this leg, especially this leg, just straighten and push your leg out. Now she's out. That's her L right there. We don't care how you get there, basically, as long as you get to this foot in, hips out, L position, we're good to go.
Now
But the
that,
point,
yeah, now that is not to be confused with this.
right?
With this, foot in.
Yeah,
ah,
it's too deep.
Push him away.
It's not efficiency.
It's not efficient, not to mention, again, we're not going to be on a smooth mat when this happens. We can't rely on just sliding out of here. So that's why we need our slightest bit of hip lift, which is what this foot is doing back here. It's allowing us our hips to come off the ground,
Oh,
slide out, even just enough to get our foot in. And then from here, the same thing. Look,
beautiful.
my hip lifts so that even if there's friction here, I can still get my hips back.
And remember, a successful L has a bottom leg locked, foot tucked right in the abdomen. We don't want that leg bent at the end because again, the bent knee is a breakable knee. It's
Mhm.
collapsible. A straight leg here is much less likely to be collapsed. So essentially, think of what Eve just did. She's essentially taking her hips away from my hips, which is, again, counter to the bad guy's objectives to being close to you. By getting your hips out, you created a great distance between you two. Now watch her eye alignment, beautiful. And her leg is already locked and loaded right here. This is danger zone, you guys. Now, one common mistake people make from here is before they do this kick, they start getting up. The problem is now, look at her kick.
It's too congested to blast me. Eve,
Not to
lay down.
mention, Henner can reach me from here too.
Yeah, good point. So Eve, lay down. Look how all of a sudden she opened up more chest space, more retraction space, which means from the same body position, I'm much more kickable here than if Eve were to sit up
Because I would be
prematurely,
sitting up.
congesting her first kick. So here's the rule. L to the I, kick low, kick high. L to the I, kick low, rock up, and then kick high. Women confuse those two low and high kicks, and they begin sitting up prematurely, congesting their own kicks, reducing their effectiveness. And it makes sense because they want to get up and get out. But you guys, don't put getting up and getting out at such a high priority that you ruin all the details between then and the start and the actual end.
And you end
wanna-
up back at square one.
It's better to do it right, deliberate, smooth, effective actions, right? But two kicks are worth more than two powerful, well-placed kicks are worth more than 10 frantic, miscalculated, smothered, ineffectively distanced kicks.
Especially when we're just practicing with each other.
Gotta be
So
perfect, you
just
guys.
one more emphasis on these shrimps, because the last thing we want is for you to feel like it needs to be one beautiful, and the truth is, this isn't even realistic, even though I'm doing it in one clean shrimp. If he's a little bit tighter and really pushing his weight, like if he's putting his weight towards me, it's gonna take a few times for me to get my hips out. That's okay. Matter of fact, it's almost better to practice that way because it's more realistic.
Right.
As long as we're shrimping and not just pushing him away,
So
right?
from
So
L,
as long as the leg lands here, stick straight if you can. All right, this one is strong here. And now we straighten up.
there it is. Stay down,
Right.
ladies. Hands up, protecting your
Hands up,
face.
protecting.
At this point, I'll give her a target. So when you practice safety tip, bad guy, put your hands up one over the other. Don't do this. Okay? Don't put your target like this
Please.
in front of your nose. You're gonna get cracked.
Mhm.
I do mine up and to the side of my
To the
face.
Side here.
There's no chance that those are even gonna hit my face, even by accident.
Now,
They're to the side.
obviously, ideally, you would be what? Targeting right at the face.
Oh yeah, when it goes
nose.
down, you guys, can you imagine how devastating it would be to get kicked in the face with my angle, my body leaning forward and my nose and face getting kicked back on the spine, on the neck, on the vertebrae? This is so ridiculous. I don't even know who comes up with this
And as
stuff.
women, our legs are our strongest part of our body. We have such great lower body strength, so let's use it.
So we're gonna go one here, boom. Now watch the rock up. Almost like that axe kick from the punch box
Yeah,
series. You
very
throw it
similar.
north and you throw it down, but you use that momentum to sit up. Right when she lands, this is a very common mistake. They want to use the same leg to kick right here
Mhm.
instead of using this as a post to allow now the power kick hip elevation. Boom. Do you guys understand? So I put my hands up on the other side. So one is here low, because that's the leg she kicks first. The
Mhm.
second one, when she gets up, I'm right here next to my face. She blasts it. I give her some respect. She moves away once or twice, and then she folds her ankle to ankle,
Twice.
and then ninja get up. Little jump
I
back.
want to show how much distance we can actually get. Scoot back.
Okay,
I
let's
want
do
to
it.
show, because remember, the whole point of this is that we're practicing it kind of, and ultimately you might have a confined space that you're practicing it in, but your objective should be get as much distance as possible,
Right, let's
right?
do
As
it.
much in one guard get up.
So here we are. So check this
from
out.
here, both with the scoot
So this
and the get
mat,
up.
this
We can
mat
even
is
go a little-
18 feet long. This mat is 18 feet long. Check this out.
Let's see, I might just go off the camera.
Stay with us.
Bye.
Here we go.
Here
So
we go.
smooth, smooth.
Mhm. So here,
Down to the
down
eye,
to the eye.
kick low, kick high. Watch the scoots. 1, 2, look at the jump. And she's off. So
How
we're
much-
traveling at
look
least
how much
15
distance.
feet. At least 15 feet Eve is traveling during this process, you guys. This is it. It's the guard getup. It's the core. It's the first variation. We're going to cover all kinds of elaborate variations of guard getups, including some advanced ones that
They're not that elaborate, but they're just different. They're just different.
Right.
Different indicators, different
grips,
behaviors. from them.
holds.
Mhm.
We got to practice. But here's what's cool. Even though every guard getup starts with a different stimulus or indicator from the attacker in terms of their behavior, they all end with the same process. Shrimp out, L to the I, kick low, kick high, scoot, scoot, base getup with the ninja
Yeah, the
style.
hardest part you just learned right now. Everything
it.
else from here, just different indicator.
Yeah, at this point, you guys should be good to go. So let's practice this smooth. Top person, you're the coach, you're the bad guy, you're the deliberate indicator. Bottom person, get that hip out, nice foot on the stomach. Don't be shy about that foot placement. You're not hurting us. Trust me, you'll
The
be
other
fine.
thing that's really important, bad guys, give them something to work with.
Pressure.
That is the hardest part about this technique. Is the bad guy's just sitting there like this. like,
Yeah.
In one guard. get-
Right.
imagine
So you
if
do a
I-
shrimp?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Watch.
shrimp out.
Oh, your foot
And
doesn't.
people
Why is
always ask that. My foot doesn't
why
reach
isn't
there
the foot
yet.
reaching? Stop. Why aren't you attacking is the real question. Forget your foot. I should be coming toward
Yeah.
her. So now she's,
Oh.
oh, she doesn't understand. When it's real, it's real. And guess what? It's
Keeping it real.
Let's have fun, you guys. Guard get-ups. L to the I, kick low, kick high. That's got to be ingrained beyond reasonable limits.
Make a song out of it, whatever you gotta do. Rap song,
That's what's up.
lullaby.
Let's do it, guys. Practice. We'll see you in the next slice.
All right, you're feeling good about your guard getup. I am too. Let's do it again. Take a look at this scenario. In the guard, my hands go on his shoulders. stiffen my arms. And
Come on, Eve. I believe in you, Eve. We believe. Go, go.
I know the shrimp is supposed to work. The shrimp- Pushing, my arms are straight.
Time. Pop quiz, you guys, pop quiz. Why wasn't she able to shrimp out? You got it. I'm lockdown mode right here on her hips.
She is
All
fully
my
controlling
resources
my
are
hips.
there to control her hips from scooting away. So, yeah, it's it. Hips are shrimps. And if the hips are locked, guess what? Shrimps are gone. There is no shrimp when the hips are restricted by my arms. So the question is now what? We're in a situation where Eve
I could be
knows.
so committed to this technique I just learned and
Right.
committed to escaping that all I do is try and try and try and try. And what happened to me naturally? As you
Bernie,
can tell. I'm not allowed to
we were
rush.
faking it and that was like 30 seconds or
Yeah,
15
no,
seconds.
that was, yeah, 5 seconds or something. Felt like.
Imagine
longer.
if we weren't faking it and it was one of you guys or Eve or a real situation where you were in the bottom of the guard, someone had your hips locked, you were convinced that you had to push them off and you went for one
At
full
all
minute,
costs had to get out.
1 full minute, like life or
I
death.
don't know if that's possible. You were completely defeated then.
And at that
Right.
point, you've exhausted all of your energy. Once you're fully depleted, then guess what? They carry on with the assault as they had planned.
Right.
So what is
What
the
are our options
alternative?
here?
Let's try.
I give up. Please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want.
Promise?
Yes.
Stay right there. Don't even think about getting hit. Boom. Boom. And we're out. Come again.
I lied, you guys.
She lied
Sometimes
to
it's okay
me.
to lie.
She lied to me. Check it out, you guys. Call this the false surrender.
Yeah, the false surrender. But what's the most important thing? So Henner is here. I'm trying to escape. And he knows I'm trying to escape, which is why he's doing what? Locking down. But what's more important than that? What do I have to realize about this? When I stop, he's not punching me. He's not choking me. He's not really doing anything to hurt me per se, aside from holding me down, which I hate. I want to get back up. But he can't be fully committed to control and hurt me at the same time.
Or
That means-
advance
or
the
advance
attack,
the attack,
right?
right.
Undress, whatever, hit, whatever it might be. I can't do those while I'm in control mode 100%. So what Eve needs to do is convince me that control mode can be loosened up or moved on from. And when I change position or control in the grip, that creates a window and opportunity for her hips because I'm no longer death gripping them. And if the hips are free, the shrimp is possible.
Yeah, and the way we do that is by not only a physical surrender, which is notice I've stopped doing everything. I am breathing, my hands are not touching him. But I will also articulate that I have surrendered, a false surrender. And I'm going to say 3 things. I give up, meaning I'm not going to try to fight anymore. Please don't hurt me, meaning, yes, you are so powerful and I know you have the power to hurt me, right? Because we know that these are oftentimes crimes of power. That's all they want. So
Right.
please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want, which means I am willing to move forward with whatever you have planned here. Now, it's really hard to say those things
Right.
because we don't mean them, and that's actually everything that we're fearing.
Mm.
But by allowing you to say that, your body can almost also surrender, right? Which is the most important. Between the two, the physical surrender is so important.
Right. Show us how they do
Yep.
something. We see students do this all the time. Watch, see if you can identify the mistake.
Right, so. Doesn't work. I give up. Please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. Please don't hurt me. I give up.
Literally, she could have very well been speaking Chinese right there, and it would have meant the same to me as what she just said, because she's going so spastic that in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I need to hold on to this woman because she's about to slip out from my grip. So actions speak louder than words, right? Don't you tell me this all the time?
Yes.
So if the guy's locking you down and you want to get out, you can say, please don't hurt me. I go, do whatever you want. But you need to relax your body so that the guy who's holding you feels what? Okay, why am I death gripping this woman? If she's fully compliant right now, let's move on. She's obviously given up and I can advance to the next phase of the attack. So he feels comfortable letting go. Do you guys understand? There's only, this is how I think about it. There is only victory to the degree that there is a chance of defeat. So me holding Eve's hips is only effective so long as she's trying to fight against that. So as I'm here and she's fighting, I feel like, okay, I'm winning, I'm defeating, I'm winning her right now.
But
The
one
minute she
second.
stops, I'm like, what?
Well, or he may feel like he did defeat her, right? Because now there's really no reason to hold her down anymore.
Right.
We're gonna relax. So this is the drill, right? We're gonna always first try, because you may be able to get, even if
Right,
it
you
feels
didn't hear.
tight, I might be able to get my hips
And
out.
in that case, you don't have to lie to him.
We should always try the shrimp first. So try the shrimp. And that's why it's important to feel like, what does it feel like when a technique really fails?
Right.
I want you to feel that. And when it does,
Good point.
then the hips are tight. And for the bad guy, he's just wrapping around my
Yeah,
hips.
I'm like, I kind of,
like
sometimes I'll go
taking
under,
this.
sometimes I'll just pinch on my elbows, but don't do this. You're gonna have no control.
Yeah,
She's
We're
gone.
good now.
No way. Look, it's elbows down, elbows in, knees out, and pinch inside your own knees and squeeze your hips right here so tight. Head down the whole time.
Yep.
And you can block her hips in
Right?
there.
And then from there, so once I realize I'm not getting out, and take a minute, breathe. Notice my hands didn't do this.
Right.
Because if Henner just,
Boom.
I'm too late, right? So I want those hands ready, not like this, like not grabbing him, but just ready so that if he did decide to punch,
Stage
I can
one.
bring him back into stage one. They're just always ready, but just relax, not touching him, hands up. I give up. You must say 3 things, right?
Oh, we're gonna test you. If you skip one, you miss 1 point.
You must actually, there's 4 things you must do to unlock this
Yes.
kind of situation, right? The first one is what? Relax.
Cool.
Second one, I give up. Please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want. So
There's-
all
that's it.
3 things we're gonna say. And then once that happens, your partner is gonna slowly
Oh, they will loosen up.
loosen up and move on to whatever he has planned next.
The minute they
And
open
the
up,
minute they do, hands on the shoulders. Now you're gonna want to do this. The minute they open up, you're gonna want to go. Yeah, oh God. Like, people get all freaked out because they had that moment of tightness and they just want to forget all the technique and they just spaz out. Remember, it's our friend here. It's our training partner. We're
and
gonna learn
remember,
this.
I'm not really the attacker. This
Yeah.
is like a total training environment. So if you can't remain calm and do it deliberately and smoothly here, you, in real life, it's gonna be spastic plus.
That's right. So from here to the moment I give up, please don't hurt me. I'll do whatever you want.
All right, I believe her. I'm loosening up.
My hands come in, shrimp, my foot goes here, I extend. Everything can still be slow for now.
Boom.
Controlled, scoot back and get up in base, right? And we'll increase intensity later, but for now, we just want you to get comfortable with that false surrender.
So there it is, you guys. False surrender, absolutely critical. Because what happens if you don't know this? If you're trapped in an inescapable situation and you fight 100% with all the energy you have, you drain all the energy. And then when he finally advances the attack to the next phase, you have nothing left to escape. So the idea here is you have to give up before you actually give up. You have to surrender before you fully surrender, creating the illusion that he can move on. And when he does that, we're gone.
That's right. And this leads beautifully into our fight philosophy lesson, which is coming up next.
It's time for another critical fight philosophy discussion with emphasis on phases 3 and 4 of the 4-phase attack strategy.
All right, let's first recap that 4-phase attack strategy. Phase 1, identify an unsuspecting target, for which our defensive strategy is heightened awareness using the triangle of victimization. Phase 2, to subdue and isolate the target. And what is our defensive strategy for that? Pretty much it's chaos. It's slowing the fight down. It's drawing attention from everyone around you, hoping that either a bystander intervenes or that he thinks a bystander might intervene and he gets spooked. Now we're on to phase 3. And here's where it gets tricky. Because if we use the same strategy in phase 2, which is chaos, fight for your life, do whatever you got to do, we play right into his plan. And which is essentially a trap, which means that we will be completely exhausted and depleted by the end of it.
So there you have it. Phase 3 is to control and exhaust the target. If this is happening, you're probably already in isolation. They have you pinned on a ground or surface. So what Eve is talking about here of using this phase 2 mindset of fight for your life, if you do that in phase 3, that's exactly what he wants you to do and expects you to do. And you deplete rapidly. And if you exhaust all your energy in phase 3, once you're pinned on the ground or surface, even if he gives you a window of escape opportunity, you won't have the technique or the opportunity to get out because you have no energy left.
That's right. So what is our defensive strategy for phase 3? Essentially, it's to conserve energy and escape when the opportunity arrives.
The problem is, what if an opportunity doesn't arise? We have bottom of the mount, bottom of the guard, trap and rolls, guard get-ups, right? So if there's a move that is available to you, conserve energy, manage distance, avoid those dangerous strikes. And then if there's a trap and roll, take it. There's a guard get-up, take it. But as we saw today with the false surrender, if you're trapped, right? When you're stuck in phase 3 and there is no escape, you're in full lockdown and all your resources are not effective, The key is to be the first one to recognize that and to stop fighting. Because if you continue, you're falling right into their trap.
Now that is very difficult to hear and very difficult to do when you are in a situation where you are literally fighting for your life. So to just tell somebody like, oh, just relax, just conserve energy, just calm down, just, just wait for an opportunity. That's much easier said than done,
Yeah.
because our reflexes kick in and we just want to fight out of it and we want to get out at all costs. So the ability to do that rests in our confidence in these techniques that you have learned. The guard get up, this punch block series, all of
Right.
that. Now, once we know that, okay, once that opportunity does arrive.
What's
if
the
I
opportunity
can-
look like?
And the
Loose
opportunity
hips.
is the hips open up. So I can hang out here, I can breathe, I can even false surrender. I can make him think that he has accomplished phase 3. He can, because phase 3 can be accomplished more than one way. Either he actually, physically
Physically.
defeats us and we are completely, out of energy, or we are so scared that we will,
Surrender. We
Surrender.
have surrendered. in
instead
one-
of a
yeah.
false surrender, it's an actual surrender saying, hey, it's not worth it. Whatever you got to do. I don't know what else to do here. So we want him to think that he has accomplished phase 3, even when he hasn't. But again, the ability to do that rests in our confidence in that when we say, okay, I give up, please don't hurt me, I'll do whatever you want. And he moves on to whatever he has planned. At the moment that opportunity comes, I'm going to blast him with a power kick right in his face.
And the challenge is, like Eve is saying, your confidence, your ability to surrender falsely is 100% tied to your certainty that on the other side of that surrender will be the window, and in that window will be an escape opportunity. But if you don't know jujitsu or these techniques and you haven't practiced, then there's no confidence that surrender means escape. Therefore, you won't surrender. I have a perfect analogy.
No way.
So here's the deal. Imagine a little sparrow, a small bird, were to creep into one of these cracks here in the studio and were to land on the mat right here. A little bird got in here, it's trapped in the building, and he's here on the mat. If I were able to sneak up on him, and I were to able to scoop him up and catch him in my hand, he's now in my grip fully, what would the sparrow do? Go absolutely crazy because it's never been contained or grabbed by human hands in its life. So it's gonna go crazy,
Of course.
flapping, pushing, going. It might go for, 2, 3, 4 minutes, absolutely wild, thinking that it's gonna die. So it's fighting for its life. In doing so, the sparrow burns all of its energy. Nothing left, 3, 4, 5 minutes.
And when do you think that Henner might?
Hold on, we're getting to that part. Calm down, it's my analogy. So at that point, full all the energy exhausted and with nothing left. If I then, once he's fully exhausted, open up my hands, the sparrow is so tame, docile there now that it's completely been traumatized and it has surrendered fully. And even when I open my hands, he and his mind and spirit is completely broken. Flip the script now. What if, right? Because the only time that I'm holding the sparrow and I would even consider loosening up my grip, is when I believe the sparrow is done, has nothing left. So if the jujitsu sparrow comes in, already trained, landed here, I were to snatch him up, but the sparrow has confidence that the window of opportunity will be there. And when it is, he will capitalize. When I have him trapped like this and he's flapping wildly, he will, prior to exhausting all of his energy, the sparrow will relax. Stop fighting. Halfway through the fight, he stops fighting. And then what do I think? Oh, cute little sparrow has calmed down. We're good. And then I open and guess what? Gone he goes.
Makes
So
perfect
what's the
sense.
key?
Yeah.
You have to surrender before you are fully depleted, exhausted, and demoralized.
Well, and also just the idea that we would not let go of our grip.
This person will
I'm
not.
going to grip as hard as I can because I know this bird's going crazy. I'm going to keep the bird. So
Right.
the moment that I'm going to put it in this cage, I'm going to wait. Okay. Oh, it's calmed down now. All right. Now's the time.
And you know what
Right.
that is? That's the transition from phase 3 to phase 4, because the cage is the sexual assault. Once they transition, the sexual assault is taking
As soon
place.
as I go to put him in, whoop,
Boom.
he's gone.
Yes, if you saved energy prior to that transition. What we're telling you though is in phase 3, there are 2 moments of escape. There's phase 3, trap and roll, guard, get up. Just you do the move whenever it's available, or it's in the bridge. In the bridge from 3 to 4, right before the assault, that's the window because it's a transitional period where there's a loose grip or modification.
Now, also just
Catch
to
him
be
on the
clear,
bridge.
There is that bridge, but just also know that even if it has gone into phase 4, even if the sexual assault has already begun to occur, there will likely still be many opportunities in that scenario
Right.
for escape. So it doesn't really end. Once you get to phase 4, you can still employ the strategy of waiting for an opportunity and then using the technique or using the escape right then.
It never ends.
Yeah,
It
and-
never ends.
And the other thing I will say is that this is also the biggest benefit to me personally in training jujitsu and learning these lessons, because you know, if before you ever learned the punch block series, let's say, the idea of somebody on top of you holding you down while you're holding them close and wrapping your legs around them probably sounded like nothing you would ever want to do. Didn't sound right. It sounds uncomfortable. And now that I'm training all the time, I am constantly put in this uncomfortable position. Imagine if the first time you are there is when it actually counts, right? So just being able to feel more comfortable in uncomfortable situations is a big part of your ability to employ these strategies of the false surrender and of, you know, conserving energy, because you're like, okay, I've been here before. I know what this feels like. I know what my opportunities look like. And that's just so important. So that's why we're all here today, really.
Comfort in worst case scenarios, you guys. And once again, further emphasizing the unique differences between each of the 4 phases and how at each phase, completely different defensive strategies. Phase 1 is awareness. Phase 2, fight for your life, don't go, draw attention and avoid abduction, and bystander intervention goes up. He runs away because he's scared of getting trapped, caught, or arrested. Phase 3, you're on the ground in isolation, in a car, in a room, isolated away from any bystander intervention possibilities. He's got you pinned. A, we get out with a nice technique because you've been practicing. B, you can't get out right away. He's got you locked down, full control mode. He's got the sparrow trapped. At that point, you need to lead him to believe that you're done. Then you loosen up and you go. But this requires a change in psychology, and that's going to be the toughest part. So understanding the 4 phases is not an optional thing. You have to totally understand these along with your knowledge of the techniques to truly kind of absorb and benefit fully from what the Women Empowered program has to offer. So how the attack phases differ, how the defensive opportunities and techniques differ. This is what it's all about, you guys. Fight philosophy. I think they're good.
Think so?
4 phases, you guys. 3 and 4, false surrender. Get comfortable. And if you can't say, I give up, please don't hurt me, I do whatever you want, in a calm, safe, controlled setting with someone you care about, then you're never going to say it when there's some creep on top of you and your life is on the line. So practice, practice, practice. Here we go.
So we've learned our guard get-ups. We've talked about the false surrender as means for escape, but this false surrender does not just apply here in jujitsu or in self-defense. This idea of trying something and it's not working. And then you have to shift your mindset and say, okay, maybe I just stop doing anything and wait for another opportunity to arrive. This is not just jujitsu, this is life. This is a life application and a life lesson. And our goal is that in many of the lessons here in jujitsu, you can start saying, wow, that's a problem that I'm kind of having in a different area of my life, not just here. And by applying these principles that we're learning here, we can now, you know, essentially take them outside of this and say, you know what, I was really trying this angle. Maybe it's a relationship problem. Maybe it's, you know, a financial problem. You're trying one thing, it's not working. And you say, all right, I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to wait for something to change. And when it does, that's when I'm going to apply, you know, my next move.
Out of the eye, kick low, kick high.